Hi, everybody. It's episode 462 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
You are. You've made it. You've survived.
Yeah,
you made
barely.
It. You made it to yet another Wednesday.
Yeah.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Full speed ahead and all that.
I'm trying.
Hey, man, at least you're not in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean. Because that shit is terrifying.
You know, it is just billionaires.
I mean, that's true, but still, like...
Hold on, correction. It is 4 billionaires and a crew person. I feel bad for the crew person.
I mean, I feel bad for everyone but the owner who didn't care that his things were not safe.
Yeah, because it has come out. There's recent reports, like, that came out today that, like, yeah, they've had several reports of, like, this is not safe, you shouldn't do this. There was a whistleblower that got fired from his company. Like
5 years ago. 5 years ago. They've known for years that this thing should not go under the water.
And they've been doing dives. This is the shocking thing, because I think I heard they've been doing dives like once a month or something like that for like since then, or for a few years at least. They do they did dives quite frequently. From what
they've
I
apparently done upwards of 20 in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
So, for anyone listening that has no idea, a, like, Titanic, tourist submersible, is, like, lost in the ocean right now.
Yeah. Last I heard, they were hearing banging, undersurface banging, from the, what's it called, crew? The search crew. But the region that they're searching is the size of Kansas. But they are hearing banging somewhere in this size of Kansas water area.
Which could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that whole thing is terrifying. Like, and, like, that's not one of those situations where where you can just be like, all right, well, everyone calm down to, like, preserve the oxygen. Like...
Yeah, no. And then the problem is, and Philip DeFranco, if any listener here doesn't listen to Philip DeFranco or doesn't know who Philip DeFranco is, he's a YouTuber. He does a lot of news and whatnot. He's a news YouTuber. He covered the show. He covered this on what is today? Wednesday, Tuesday's show and Wednesday's show. I haven't fully listened to Wednesday's show about it yet. But he made a good point of the scary thing isn't the fact that they're lost, it's the fact that if they find them, there's still no idea how we're going to get them back. Because they only have like 3 or 4 days of oxygen. And there's not enough time to actually rescue them if they find them.
Well, I mean, you just get another submarine to come and, go from below them, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they're going to be able to go below them, because they're probably literally on the ocean floor at this point.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, that whole thing is terrifying.
It is.
Yeah, some billionaires died. Boo-hoo.
No, I just mean, like, in general, like, the fact that, like the thought of, like, dying in a tin can on the ocean floor is terrifying.
You know, though, it's not. It's not terrifying. Because I would never go down onto the ocean floor in a tin can.
Yeah, like, it's not a thing that one of us will accidentally have happen to us.
Yeah, like,
that's... Speak for yourselves.
Oh, you plan on accidentally falling into a metal tube that goes to the bottom of the ocean?
I mean, look, if it were an option prior to, like, yesterday, I would have said, sure, why not?
Prior to yesterday.
So, why would you have gone on this?
Wait, say that one more time?
Why would you even consider it?
I mean, like, who doesn't want to see the bottom of the ocean?
So you're seeing it through a camera. There's not windows. Like...
I think there is a window.
Nope.
No?
No.
I could have swore I saw, like, there was one window, I thought.
No.
But yeah,
it's a camera feed. You can just watch camera feed.
Yeah, at that point, like, if you are not able to see it with your own eyes, it is absolutely useless.
Yeah. Like, I don't think there's any material that would be see-through that would be able to withstand the pressure at that depth. Like,
what is the company's name?
Fuck. Hold on. I think I
Oh no.
Ocean Gate, which, great name right there. Ocean Gate.
Okay, so there are no windows except the porthole through which passengers view the Titanic. So there is a porthole.
Oh, is there a porthole?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a porthole. That's what I thought. But the first I searched, and luckily I didn't even need the name because I just searched "does the sub," and it autofilled everything else. The first search on there was, "does submersible have a toilet?" And the response to "does submersible have windows?" is, "there is only one toilet and no seats. Passengers sit cross-legged on the floor. There are no windows except the porthole through which passengers view the Titanic."
Yep, that sounds like $250,000.
Exactly. So, on lighter news, there's some stuff we could talk about, guys.
Yeah, Rich, what's on the agenda?
So, really quick, there was a trailer drop for One Piece, the live-action Netflix series, based off of the manga called One Piece.
Yes.
Yes, I went with the manga and not the anime, because, I mean, technically it is based off the manga. There was also a Nintendo Direct this morning, around 10 o'clock this morning. I played the Final Fantasy XVII demo and purchased it immediately after I played it. Cobb, you saw the Black Clover movie, which I'm hearing great things about. And we'll be talking about Face Off.
We will. These are accurate things.
Yes.
Yeah. So Netflix released the trailer for the One Piece live action.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really good.
I was shocked. I was shocked to see it does look good. The one thing I'm always nervous about, and it's with everything. This is why I was happy that they sort of changed Miss Marvel's powers. The one thing I was scared about is how is Luffy going to stretch and how is that going to look. You don't really get a good shot of his stretching abilities.
But he says it. He actually yells "Gum Gum Pistol."
Yeah. Which is like, they're embracing One Piece, which is like what I want from an anime, live action anime, what's the word?
Adaptation?
Adaptation, yeah. Like, I want them to embrace the anime. I want them to embrace the crazy. So like that's good. And like, I've never seen One Piece. I don't really know a lot about One Piece. I just kind of know some of the characters. How are you gonna do Nose Man? We'll see.
Nose Man?
Isn't there a guy with like a super long Pinocchio nose?
Oh, Usopp. He's in the trailer. It's the black
Is
dude
he?
with the slingshot.
Oh, does he have a big nose?
No, but I mean, it's not like his nose is like something special. He was just drawn with a large nose.
But it's not him then. But yeah, it does look good. I was shocked to see how good it looked. And like, aren't there other, it makes me excited because they also released single shots of The Last Airbender.
Which, that one I did not watch. I finally watched the first season of that show, though.
You finally watched the first season of The Last Airbender?
Yeah, it's fine. It's mediocre.
Yeah. It's the first season. You're right. It is mediocre. It gets so good because the first season starts very much like with a combination of anime cartoon where it's like Monster of the Week, but also there is an overlying story, but it's mostly Monster of the Week and like not really a point to half of them. But then as the series goes on, it's if you missed something in a previous season or in a previous episode, you might be lost. There is literally like 6 episodes where a character is missing and it's all about finding that character again. And like it is them doing whatever they can to find that character.
Right. But we're talking about One Piece right now because I'm actually very excited that this show looks as good as it does. I'm a little confused about how they're going to fit everything in. So
I mean, they're just going to need to have 1,200 episodes.
Well, no, not every. So I said that wrong. So yes, but so it's an 8-episode series. It is covering based on the characters that will be in it. Excuse me, and a couple of the episode titles. It is covering upwards of like 70 episodes ish.
Mm-hmm.
In 8 episodes, which not completely unreasonable. Like there is like any cartoon, anime, TV series, like there's a lot of like fluff in there that you don't necessarily need.
Yeah.
But that's still like they're introducing. So you get Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and they're introducing the first 5 Straw Hats. And then getting to the Grand Line, which is like the first big like point of the story. Like they all start in kind of like the same general part of the world, and their goal is to get to the Grand Line to find the One Piece. So they're getting to that point. But like everything in that trailer actually looked really good, except the ship. The ship looks good, except the goat head on the front looks too like horror vibey, whereas in the manga and in the show, it's like wholesome. Like, it is not this goat with its like mouth open in like a battle cry. It's like a goat with like a smile.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
well, I mean, you've already gone over that ship dies, so like
that. I mean, yes, it dies 320 episodes in.
So that'll be like episode 12.
I mean, maybe. No, I have a few. So depending on how long this show goes for, I can see a season 2 being kind of like fast tracking a bit of the early Grand Line stuff and going right for the Alabasta arc, which is like probably the first big story arc. It's also where you get the next 2 Straw Hats with Chopper, the little reindeer dude, and Robin, the girl with the black hair.
Okay.
But like that was like a big arc. It had a lot of like characters that even 1,000 episodes or 1,000 chapters later are still popular and people still want to see more of them. I think one of the most important things from that trailer though, Buggy the Clown is in it and he looks fucking sinister and I hope he's actually goofy like he is in the fucking book. So there's a brief scene in the trailer where you see just a clown like smiling. He has like a menacing thing kind of between the Joker and Pennywise, but the new Pennywise, not the Tim Curry Pennywise. And it's Rich, do you remember in the last couple seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I forget the guy's name, but it was the guy from the future that was like Fitz and Simmons' like grandson or something like that?
Yeah.
That actor is playing Buggy, and I'm just like, okay. Like, he played like weird and over the top well enough in S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, he was always, like a little scattered and crazy. So I'm interested to see how he does playing like an over the top, like, he's a pirate clown that, his special power is he can like drop all of his limbs apart. So like he can like throw his hand off of his body and like smack somebody from far away. At one point, he actually loses most of his body. He is literally just his hands, his feet, his torso, and his head. Like, he loses, like, half of his torso and parts of his arms and legs.
Okay.
Yeah. That character's fun. I like Buggy.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, other than actually Usopp, the nose guy, you kind of get, like, a decent moment with most of the Straw Hats in the trailer. And a lot of it looks very accurate to the original story. Like, Luffy meeting Zoro, I've seen comparisons to like the first episodes versus like the trailer, and some of the scenes are almost like 1-for-1, or as close to 1-for-1 as you can get with like adapting something like this where people have crazy powers and certain people are, clowns or giant fish people and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene near the end of the trailer. It's after Luffy does one of his stretchy arm punches and he yells out the attack, that it then cuts to him talking to Zoro and just going, all the cool fighters call out their final moves, and it cuts to the Zoro actor just going, no they don't, and like moving along, which fits that character really well, but is also the opposite of like the manga and stuff where Zoro does call out all of his finishing moves, just like all of them do, because it's anime. Like, anime characters always call out their finishing moves.
Yeah.
Like, they call out all of their fucking moves. But yeah, I have very rarely been impressed by, like, the live-action adaptations of things, especially the ones that Netflix has been involved in. Like, One Note, or not... What? Yeah, no. Death Note?
Death Note was bad, but... I mean, I guess that was fully it was on Netflix, but was that
I'm pretty
Netflix?
Sure it was fully Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
But, like, I remember watching that, and I'd never even seen Death Note. I know, like, the gist of it, but I've never watched or read it. And I watched that movie, and I'm like, this is the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen. Mm-hmm.
I had a time trying to watch Death Note because I was never able to watch it, like, for the first, like, week or so that it was out. Due to being on vacation with my family. So, this is a tangent, but we're gonna go into it. We went to the Outer Banks. This was years ago. Like, Death Note
like
came
2016, 2017, I want to say.
Yeah, I was 28. I had just turned 28 when we went to the Outer Banks. And Or did I just turn 29? I think I just turned 29. We went to Outer Banks. And I'm 30. I'll be turning 35 in August. So we go down there, and there was a theater room at the place that we stayed at the house. And it was like my whole family, my brother's family, Gwen, Tabitha wasn't born. Tabitha wasn't born, but Audra had her in her belly. And so I'm like, you know what? Everyone's out, or there's no one home. And I'm like, I'm gonna go watch Netflix. Or I'm gonna go watch the fucking, Death Note. And I go into the theater room, and I set up, and I turn it on, and I start to watch Death Note. And, like, it just starts, or it's just loading in, and it's just starting, and in comes Gwen and my brother. And I pause it, and I'm like, she shouldn't be in here for this. It's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, she really shouldn't be in here for this. This is Death Note. It's like, no, she'll be fine. Your choice. And I press play. And you know the opening scene of Death Note, right? Do you remember?
Vaguely, yeah. I know it involved death.
A dude gets his head chopped off by a freaking ladder, like, rolling through it. Literally, within the first 5 minutes of the movie, this happens. And Gwen not understanding what's going on, but Eric not wanting his daughter to be traumatized, was like, alright, nope, Gwen, we gotta go. And Gwen had a fit. She wanted to hang out with Uncle Richie and watch a movie. So then we had to change the movie to Trolls, which we saw like 4 other fucking times that weekend. And then she got up and left 20 minutes into watching Trolls. And I just ended up sitting there watching Trolls. And then I don't think I got to get alone time in the theater room until after I came home from that trip.
I mean, that sucks.
Yeah.
But hey,
that was...
At least the live action One Piece trailer looks fucking good.
It looks good. Yeah, it looks interesting. I might actually watch One Piece.
I mean, like, I would say watch the actual anime, but that's a lot. That's a commitment.
Yeah. I mean, I could start doing 1 or 2 episodes a day, and it would only take me 4 years.
I mean, there are 20 episodes. You could watch like 4 of them in an hour.
But I'm just not going to do that at the moment. I'm doing too much right now.
I mean, I do understand that, but look, you could do a whole different type of content where it's just you reacting to One Piece episodes on YouTube.
I mean, I've seen streamers just watch a full-on anime on their stream before, and I'm like, I'm surprised they don't get shut down for this. Because you're not supposed to do that.
I mean, that is also true.
Yeah.
But, just related to the trailer, Netflix also released a video of the cast watching the trailer for the first time, and it's very endearing. The actor that plays Luffy, by like midway through watching the trailer, has tears in his eyes.
Nice.
And then at the end, like, everyone's kind of like patting him, and like they're all smiling and happy, and like he says the most anime ass line I have ever heard in real life. Thank you guys for being my friends.
Oh, that's adorable.
And like, other than like, of the Straw Hats, there are only 2 of them that appear to have worked before. The girl playing Nami has been in a couple things, including those Fear Street movies from a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the actor playing Zoro has been in a handful of... Actually, he's been in a bunch of live-action anime adaptations. Like I think he was in, like, some of the Kenshin ones. He was in, I believe, Full Metal Alchemist. I think he was Scar in the Full Metal Alchemist one. So everyone else either has no, like, credits at all, or has so few that they don't even warrant, like, a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am definitely excited for this thing, and it comes out in August, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Anyway, there was also a Nintendo Direct.
Yes, there was. It was basically their Summer Games Fest event, basically. Or I guess E3, even though E3 doesn't exist anymore.
Right now, it'll be back, and then it'll be canceled.
Yeah. I'll start off with just saying I totally forgot there was Scarlet and Violet DLC coming out.
Same.
I mean, I kind of forgot about Scarlet and Violet just in general.
Yeah, like, that's... Like, I remember Sword and Shield, like, I wasn't too thrilled with the post-credit stuff, but I actually enjoyed the game enough to, like, get all the Pokemon and everything. But Scarlet and Violet, like, I just thought everything. I thought what they did was good, but their execution of it just was poor. And it ended up making me disinterested, especially the post-credits content. That, like, I stopped caring. I fully stopped caring for that game.
I mean, that is definitely understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, while I don't think they were bad games, I think that they were just kind of, while they did things differently, they were also just very simple and kind of cookie cutter. And other than the storyline where you're helping, like, the kind of douchey kid with his dog, nothing else was all that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that one was kind of interesting just because, like, there was a little bit of, like, an emotional hit to it. But, like, the Starfall team stuff, like, that was really dumb. And I wish they would, I mean, like, not to rant about Pokemon. I wish they would stop making, like, the villain team just, like, a bunch of delinquents that aren't really all that bad. Like, go back to, like, using actual criminal organizations that 10-year-olds are fucking taking down.
Yeah. Like, Team Yell in Sword and Shield was great. I loved Team Yell. They were just soccer hooligans. That was fun. But, like, that my issue with Sword and Shield was there was no main antagonist in that game until the final boss fight, basically.
Yeah, and you also don't get rivals anymore, so...
Yeah. I mean, like, look, Pokemon has fallen, and we know this, we've talked about it. Hopefully they can, like, pick it back up, but, I mean, there's a reason Digimon games don't really come out that often anymore, too, so.
I mean, that is true. But yeah, as far as the Direct goes, I ran through, like, the list of stuff, and I just, wrote down anything that I don't think was announced already.
Yeah.
Because there was a handful of things, like Sonic, a fucking port of the Arkham games, that it's like, whatever. Like, we've either played those games or don't care, or, like, have talked about them already. There were only 3 things, and I bolded them, that, like, jumped out at me. Was there anything that jumped out for either of you guys, though, aside from, like, probably the 3 big ones?
Besides the 3 big ones, it was, Star Ocean did stand out for me. They're remaking the second Star Ocean. Or not remaking, they remade second Star Ocean. It comes out later this year.
Is that actually this is a real question. Is that really the second Star Ocean game, or is it just called the second story?
I believe it's the second Star Ocean. I think it is the second story. It's Star Ocean, the second story.
Oh yeah, because Final Fantasy hasn't been fucking with that whole, like, naming thing for 25 years.
Well, Final Fantasy has gone in order. They give you Final Fantasy II. It is the second Final Fantasy. This is Star Ocean, the second story is the second story of Star Ocean. It's not.
How do you explain Final Fantasy X to?
It's the second 10.
Crisis Core?
10. Crisis. See, that's different. Like, but, like, you know what I'm saying. Like, second story. But Star Ocean, all takes place in the same universe. Every game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until I played, the most recent one. It's all a connected universe. Characters that are mentioned throughout it's just different timelines. Like, the one that I just played, Divine Force, is, like, the most recent in the time, or the last one in the timeline or something like that. But, like, I'm sure that you can go find a graph of where all the Star Ocean games lie in the timeline. But there's like, one of the characters has a name that's shared from families and characters throughout, like, all of the Star Ocean games. It's mentioned in all of them. And it's like, it's not their Sid, but it's like their Sid, whereas that character's in every game. But that character is, like, relative to the person you played as in the first one, in the second.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know very little about Star Ocean, other than, like, it's a series that has been around for quite a while.
Yeah. There was also, I didn't write down the name, because I was, along with messaging you, I was also messaging Evan. There was a free-to-play adventure sim that was on there.
Palia.
Yeah. I was like, this is definitely something that I might look into, because
I sent that one and the Fae Farm one. I sent them both to Erica as they were coming up.
And then also, Silent Hope is a Walnut-ass game.
So I missed this one, I think, because I was working and I was trying to pause it when I had to, like, actually step away. But I think I may have just totally missed that one. What was it? It was
like an isometric but base builder type thing. Like, it was very interesting. I'm having, like, a hard time actually, like, fully remembering and explaining it. but it gave me, like, the art style gave me Crystal Chronicles vibes. And it's like, it might be, I don't know, I'm on, Nintendo's website, and it doesn't, like, give, it's action role-playing, so that doesn't really give us any information. But, like, it's like an isometric style game where, like, you go out, you do stuff, you get supplies, you come back, you build your bases, you build your home and whatnot. Like, I can't fully remember, because I didn't go too in-depth with it, but just from the looks of it, I was just like, yeah, this is totally a me game.
Okay. Sounds like it's not a me game, though.
Probably not.
So I pulled it up. It looks like a very chibi Diablo-like that also then has bait in it.
Yeah, like, to me, it felt like a little, like, Crystal Chronicles as well.
I mean, sure, maybe.
Maybe it was just more the art style than anything.
The art style looks definitely, I can see, but, like, the gameplay, it sure looks like a Diablo-style action RPG where you have, like, 3 abilities that are on alternating cooldowns or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then a base building upgrade system thing.
And then really the only other thing besides the bolded stuff that you have, and it was previously announced, this was a Pikmin, they had mentioned they were going to talk a lot about Pikmin 4, and I was excited to see the stuff that they showed for Pikmin 4. I'm upset that it comes out in July. I'm sure they already announced that, and I completely forgot, because I don't pay attention to release dates anymore.
We have known it was coming in July for quite a while.
Yeah. But they did a deep dive into Pikmin 4, which, if you're interested in Pikmin 4, watch this. It made me more interested in Pikmin 4, because I love the Pikmin games. But I'm probably not going to get it on July 27th, because I believe that might be the same day Remnant 2 releases.
It could be. I don't know. I would be
July
more inclined
25th.
to get. I think you should just get both of them. Live your life.
I can't afford to get both. I have to. I just got my $400 hospital bill to pay. So.
Well, stop going to the hospital.
I mean, tell my dog to not bite me.
I mean, you did that yourself. Chase is a good boy.
I did. Jury's still out on that.
I mean, that's fair. But yeah, the Pikmin game does look cool, and I think it's cool that they did HD versions of 1 and 2, and they're out now.
Yeah.
And then they're out now in the eShop. Physical versions are coming September.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that there is a way to play Pikmin 1 and 2 outside of the GameCube. I don't know that they were ever released on, like, virtual consoles or anything.
No, they weren't. And was 2 on GameCube? I thought that was Wii U or Wii.
No, the only one that made it to, I think, the Wii generation was Pikmin 3. Yeah. So 1 and 2 were fairly close together.
Yeah. And 3 was Wii U. I remember that much.
And Switch. They did a...
Did they do it?
Like port? Almost every Wii U game, it exists on the Switch.
Yeah.
Pikmin 1 was 2001, Pikmin 2 was 2004, and then Pikmin 3 was 2013. There was almost a decade between Pikmins.
Jesus.
And then another decade between Pikmins.
Well, I mean, they had the Pikmin Go app, but yeah, I mean, you're right.
Yeah. There was also Hey Pikmin.
There's a lot of Pikmin stuff. It's a shock that it took them almost 10 years for another Pikmin game.
Like another proper.
10, not even almost. It is 10 years.
Yeah.
For Pikmin 4, because, like, people do very much like the Pikmin series. It is
almost exactly 10 years. Pikmin 3 in Japan released July 13th, 2013, and in North America, August 4th, 2013.
So it's more than 10 years.
I mean, for us, it will be just under 10 years. For Japan, it will be just over 10 years.
Exactly, yeah. But, like, people love Pikmin. It's a shock that they don't, like, support that series more.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, people like it, but I don't think they're sellers. I think it's like Metroid. Everyone always talks about Metroid games, but up until Dread, those games didn't really sell. Like,
I disagree with the fact that they didn't really sell. I feel like the Metroid Prime games sold very well. Then they just came off the face of the earth because they were all GameCube games, and they stopped making them.
So historically, like every thing I've ever heard people talk about, Metroid games are games where they're usually critically well received, and people talk highly of them, but they do not see that return in the actual sales numbers. It's not that they're like really bad sellers. Like, it's not like they sell like garbage, but like I just brought up like a Metroid thing. So Metroid Dread is the highest selling Metroid game of all time at 2.9 million copies. Metroid Prime, the original, is the next highest, at 2.84. But 2 and 3 were both just over a million. And Super Metroid, 1.4 million. Compared to like games like Pokemon that sell 20 or 30 million copies. Like, it's not that they're selling poorly. They're doing the same thing that like CBS does when they compare all of their 30-minute sitcoms to The Big Bang Theory. Like, the show doesn't do Big Bang Theory numbers, so it gets canceled after a season.
Yeah, you know what it is? You want to know what it is? Here's what it is. Because I just looked this up. Metroid Prime released in November of 2002. You want to know what also released in November of 2002? Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil 0, Dark Cloud 2, which I believe was a pretty enjoyed game, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. What else was there? There was something else on there that Star Wars Bounty Hunter, Metroid Fusion.
I mean, that was a DS game though. That doesn't count.
But still, like, I think that, like, I'm sure if we were to go through and look up
every year, like October through December, every year are big sellers.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Is they're releasing these games that are kind of getting pushed aside. Like, Pikmin is getting pushed aside for me because there's a different game coming out, and everything is coming out in May, June, and July of this year. And so I have to push stuff aside. Some of these games are just releasing at bad times.
But these are lifetime sales totals, not like launch sales, Like, so the fact that, Metroid Prime 2 sold like 1.4 million copies in its lifetime, like, is real low for a Nintendo first party game.
But also, like in the defense of those games, like Richie said before, they were locked onto the GameCube, and that game came out shortly before, if I remember correctly, Metroid Prime 2 came out shortly before the Wii came out.
Yeah.
So, like, lifetime...
Metroid Prime 3 came out before the Wii came out.
No, Metroid Prime 3 is a Wii game.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, Metroid Prime 3, 100% a Wii game. Metroid Prime and Prime 2 were both GameCube games, but, like, Prime 2 came out in, like, the final year of the GameCube, and like at that point, like once the Wii came out, that's all anyone was buying stuff for. Like, I sold very few GameCube games after the Wii came out.
I could have swore all 3 Metroid Prime games were GameCube.
They were all on the Wii because of the trilogy.
Yeah,
but yeah, well, like Metroid,
the Wii was also backwards compatible with GameCube.
Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. But yeah, like the Metroid games are not bad sellers. They don't sell what Nintendo expects their first-party games to sell. Same thing with, like, Star Fox. The audience clamors for Star Fox, but it's not the general public that's buying it. So every so often, Nintendo makes one, and it doesn't perform the way they want it to, so then they spend another decade before they try to make another one. And because they're Nintendo, and because the games aren't coming out because the games aren't doing the numbers they expect them to do, they keep going back to the drawing board and making them different instead of just making a really good version of the game people want. Like Metroid Dread. Like, Metroid Dread is the Metroid game people wanted. It is the classic Metroid, not Metroid Prime, obviously, since they're different. Like, people, like, we waited, almost 20 years for, like, a proper 2D Metroid after that?
And not only a proper 2D Metroid, but an actual fucking sequel to Metroid Fusion.
Yeah, but, like, it's just one of those, like, there's a reason that is the best-selling Metroid game. It's on the hardware that probably has the most out there at the moment, and people were interested in trying that game.
Are you telling me people didn't have the portable console of the Nintendo GameCube?
But also to the general point of, like, Metroid's popularity versus Nintendo's big things, 10 times the people bought fucking Breath of the Wild than bought Metroid. 4 times the people have bought Tears of the Kingdom in a week or whatever than bought Metroid Dread.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, it sucks that, like, you look at Nintendo and you're like, they're like big first party stuff. Like, I don't know about you guys, but in my head, it's like I would name Metroid as that. But, like, when you look at, like, the games and the numbers, It's really not. Like, Samus is an iconic Nintendo character, but, like, it is not an important franchise to Nintendo. It's an important franchise to the fans of the franchise versus Zelda and Mario, which are just, this is what sells our hardware. This is what we're going to just shit out all the time.
So how many copies of Tears of the Kingdom have been sold?
This says 10 million.
10 million.
It's a lot of copies of that game. Jesus.
That is. I mean, I guess that is reasonable. Because Metroid Prime Remastered has 1 million copies sold.
Yeah, like, that's what we're saying is, hey, Metroid. Nobody, like, comparatively, nobody buys them.
Yeah.
But
it's
also...
Pikmin series has 7 million total sales across all 3 games, or whatever many games.
But yeah. I also, like, just minor counter argument. Like, I looked it up just to compare, but also... It is a remaster of a game that a lot of people are over remasters, but it's 1 million copies of a remake of a remaster. So I don't know.
You're not wrong. Like, it is a remaster. I would give Metroid Prime Remaster the credit of it is 20 years later, at least. It's not like some games where we're getting remasters less than 5 years later.
Yeah.
Or, like, getting multiple remasters like we did with The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But, Drew, were there any games... like, other than, like, the big ones that that we'll get to in a second, that, like, jumped out at you? Maybe the Pigeon game?
Yeah, I mean, the Pigeon thing, I guess, could be fun. I didn't really watch it, other than, oh, hey, it's a Pigeon rhythm, like, Battle Royale game.
It's a WarioWare, but pigeons.
I mean, it kind of has everything you like, Drew. Rhythm, Royale, and pigeons.
I mean, is it free? I'll play it if it's free.
Of course not, it's a Nintendo game.
Fair.
No, but Palea is free.
That's true.
That'll be coming out on holiday.
You know, it says holiday. I went on their website today. Their website has, like, zero information about this fucking game. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the game's probably not going to be good.
Well, it could be. But Drew, nothing else really jumped out at you from what you saw when you... Because I think you said you were just kind of, like, keeping up with it on Twitter.
Yeah, good old Wario64 was basically posting everything that got announced and, like, handfuls of screenshots of everything.
He is reliable for that stuff.
That they are.
All right. So I guess then Rich, you kind of named a couple of things that I was looking forward to. I do like that they're doing a re-release remaster of the Luigi's Mansion game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need it. I have the 3DS one, but I feel like that was a Luigi's Mansion game that did get overlooked. And Luigi's Mansion 3 was fairly well received by, like, everybody. So, but they announced Detective Pikachu Returns, which is 2. It's coming to the Switch. And it's fully fucking voice acted.
Okay, I was about to ask, is that the thing that you were yelling about actually having voice acting?
Yeah, it was voice acted.
Was the first one also voice acted?
I don't know. I never played it. It was a 3DS game or a DS game. I know next to nothing about the original game, but I know this one was fully voice acted, and I was infuriated. Because it was like 2 minutes after the Pokemon trailer, where I had to read a bunch of shitty text boxes. And, like, this actually, because this is a story-driven game, it's got legitimate dialogue. It's not like a Pokemon game where, like, there's, like, 4 cutscenes where voice acting would have actually made a difference, and, like, a bunch of Pokemon noises. Like, you don't need voice acting for all the shitty people you talk to, like, in the random towns. Like, you just need it for, like, the gym battles and stuff like that.
The original game, released in 2016, had a voice actor.
Yeah, so, like, that makes it even worse. Also, that game was just 2016. I thought it was older than that.
According to IMDb.
Wait, that's not the movie, is it?
In this adventure game for Nintendo 3DS, Tim Goodman.
Okay.
Yeah, no, apparently IMDb has video games on there.
Oh yeah, no, they do. If the game has voice acting, it is usually on there. I do not know if they have every game on there. Kaji
Tang is the English dub voice of Detective Pikachu in Detective Pikachu, and Toru Okawa is the Japanese voice.
Okay, here's what it was. It came out in Japan in 2016. It didn't come out anywhere else until 2018.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And there was a petition to have. There was a fan-made petition to have Danny DeVito voice Pikachu. I remember that. I remember that 100%. The petition to have Danny DeVito voice it.
Yeah, no, I do remember that. I remember the Danny DeVito thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that I just thought that was funny that is like coming to the Switch and it's fully voice acted. I don't know that I would play it because I've seen the movie and it seems very similar to the movie. And then there was a new Super Mario Brothers game announced. Well, like a 2D one.
Yeah. It just makes me laugh so much that we are now just more embracing the fact that Mario is just drugs.
I mean, it always has been, right?
I know it always has been, but now, like, before it was you get magic mushrooms or a magic leaf and you grow or you can shoot fireballs. But now you get a magic...
can fly.
Or you can fly. But now it's you get a magic flower and the world changes, which means you're on a fucking trip.
Mario 2, you picked up a bottle of some sort of liquid and now the world was different.
Mario 2 doesn't count, because that's Doki Doki Panic.
Mario 2 counts.
That's Doki Doki Panic.
Mario 2 fucking 100% counts. Birdo exists in Mario canon.
And the Shy Guys.
And the Shy Guy. And fucking, like...
But that was all a dream world, also. That was a dream world.
They're fucking still exist. It's all a dream.
Well, you know what? It's even worse than that all those dream fucking things, like, came out of Mario's dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like,
he's doing some heavy shit if that's happening.
I found it so funny. I was just like, man, like, the world changes, and friggin' warp pipes are moving like worms, and shit like that. It's not just like, things are a little weird. It's like, straight up, like, the entire world is moving and changing. And I find it ridiculous and hilarious, but also awesome, and I think it looks great.
Yeah, like, other than, I mentioned it when we were in, like, our chat earlier. Something about the art style just looked slightly off. Like, the character movement or something. Like, it looked weird to me. Almost like, like the character itself was moving out of frame rate with everything else. Kind of like they did with, Miles in Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
But, like, I thought the game looked cool. Like, I will 100% get that because I like 2D Marios.
Mm-hmm.
And then the biggest thing, they're fucking remaking Mario RPG.
Hell,
and it's coming out in November.
Yeah. I can now finally play Mario RPG. That's why that has not come out on the Switch, online. I'm calling it now. The reason they haven't done it on Switch Online is because they knew they were remaking it. And so...
Absolutely.
They want people to buy this version and not play the old version.
Yep. No, like 100%. Like, no arguments there. But hey, At least now you can be one step closer to your streaming channel stuff being nothing but RPGs.
It's just pure RPG. Literally, like it's been Tales of Arise, and then we had a month of Apex that we don't talk about anymore. Those were the dark times. And then it was friggin' Star Ocean and Remnant, but Remnant it wasn't quite an RPG, but mostly Star Ocean, and now Final Fantasy. And then I don't know if I'm gonna get Mario RPG right away. I probably will. It's just, I hate this year, man. I hate it so much.
It's a good year.
It's so much coming out, and I don't have the time or the money. It's more the money to get it all, and I want to get it all. And it's like I still haven't gotten God of War from last year. I still haven't gotten Rabbids 2. I still haven't gotten Jedi Survivor. Fucking, I'm sure there's a couple of other games. Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. It's just too much this year. Too much.
I mean, that does sound like a problem.
It is. It's a terrible problem. Friggin' City Skylines 2 comes out in November or October. I can't remember now. Which, I just found out. They updated City Skylines and they have a couple of, like, looking towards the future things that you can like place in the world of cities in your cities, and one of them is a countdown clock that counts down to the day City Skylines 2 is released.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Super Mario RPG, it looks remarkably like those games. Like it's an upgraded, like updated, like it looks great, but like the gameplay actually looks like those games.
Yeah, like I've seen a few streamers recently play Mario RPG, and like there were scenes in that I remember watching them play or seeing them play just 2 months ago that I was just like, this looks just upgraded. That's it. Like it doesn't look any different. It looks exactly the same as it was, just upgraded.
Yeah. I would assume there are some changes like quality of life stuff, but it's also Nintendo, so there is a chance that it is just a fancy coat of paint over an already fantastic game.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, that game did very well, and, like, as far as, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there will, no, that was for Star Ocean. But, like, yeah, we're now using a controller that has 20 more buttons than the Super Nintendo controller did. So, like, it does make sense that it's like, alright, there's gonna be some updates.
There's only 2.
4.
Where do you get... because of the analog sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
pushing in the analog stick.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I don't ever consider those buttons, even though they get used for so many things.
They are totally buttons.
Yeah, no, I'd like I don't disagree. I just never like think about those when I think about buttons. But I'm like, like you said that, I'm just like, there's just 2 extra shoulder buttons.
But you know what I mean, though. Like, there's extra buttons. They're obviously going to do something with them.
They might not. That'd be hilarious if like the triggers just don't do anything.
I mean, they could turn around and say that this game is playable with your Super Nintendo controller.
I mean, that would kind of be dope if they actually did that.
Yeah, I that would actually be cool.
And, like, it is just a turn-based RPG. I really don't know what adding any extra button shit into this game would do. Like, it's not
I don't know.
Like it was an ARPG and, okay, now you can assign 2 more skills or whatever.
If I remember correctly, it's been a long time. Didn't that game have, like, some, like, specific, like timing related stuff for, like, some of the attacks?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
But, like, all of the Mario RPGs have stuff like that.
There's only one Mario RPG, and there's a bunch of fucking copycats. Let's be realistic.
But I'm saying they all have stuff like that.
They do. I understand that. But I'm just saying. Don't besmirch the name of Super Mario RPG with your Paper Mario bullshit.
Dude, Paper Mario is a fucking great series.
Like one of them was. No one likes any of the others. Everyone's still just living that high off the first one.
I've never experienced a Paper Mario game that I did not like.
I know, like, I think it's like the first, like, 3 are super well received. Like the original and the Thousand Year Door and one other one. But I feel like the more recent ones people have, like, not disliked, but just been a little more, like, apprehensive of, because very much like Pokemon, they dumb them down and made them a little too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, people don't want that. People want a challenge.
Yeah, the Origami King was you're right, was a little dumbed down. But besides that, like, they were great.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Nintendo Direct. There was some cool stuff.
There was one other that I just remembered when looking at the list, Myth Force.
Oh yeah, like that. Yeah, it's like a roguelike Saturday morning cartoon dungeon crawler or something like that.
Yeah. Which I'm like, all right. I love the art. Like, it's like, what is that game called? It was an old school arcade game where Dragon's Lair, yes. It keeps, like, the character styles look like Dragon's Lair, but, like, it's all 3D at this point and not drawn in.
I mean, Dragon's Lair were fucking laser discs.
Were they?
Yeah, that was a laser disc game.
Is that what I'm thinking of, though?
Yes.
I mean, it is also an arcade game.
Yeah. It was, you were basically playing a cartoon in that game.
Yeah. That is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it was a big deal in like the second season of Stranger Things, if I remember correctly. Like, they were going to the arcade to play it.
Yeah.
But you know, that game looked neat. I will not play it because it's a roguelike, but it had a cool aesthetic. Don't disagree. But Rich, do you want to tell us a little bit about Final Fantasy XVI?
So, I played Final Fantasy XVI. That's really all. No, I did the demo. It's available on PS5. It's about 2.5 hours long.
So,
it is
real quick question for you. How much like actual game playing was there? Because I hear people being like, what I assume is a little sarcastic when they say it's only like 20 minutes of gameplay and the rest is all like cutscenes and conversations.
I mean, it's enough game. Like, I wouldn't be, you wouldn't be entirely wrong saying that it's more cutscenes, but you're giving me the first 2.5 hours of the game for free to play that carries over to your main game. I much rather want that as a demo if I'm only getting 40 minutes of gameplay than getting midpoint of the game that I don't know what's going on with all of the powers, which, when you beat the story, they do have something like that as well where you can continue to play the game, like, later on.
Okay.
But yeah, like the initial stuff is, probably about like 30 to 40 minutes out of the 2.5 hours was like full on legitimate gameplay. I mean, you could even, that's the thing. You could even boil it down to, like, just combat. Like, depends on what you're considering, quote, gameplay. Because if you boil it down to where you're just combat, it's alright, it's like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, not even. But if it's like you controlling the character and stuff like that, it's a decent amount of the game, of the demo. But it, like, a lot of it is exposition and dialogue.
Okay. That's fair. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I was super intrigued in the story right away. Like, it loads up initially, right away it loads up, and you have control over Phoenix fighting presumably Ifrit. And you're dodging Ifrit's attacks and hitting the button to attack Ifrit. Like, literally, that is the first thing you're doing, is fighting Phoenix versus Ifrit. And then it cuts to the character you're gonna control, whose name, in the beginning, his name is Clive, but they're calling him, what are they calling him? Was it Tiamat? I don't know. Wyvern. They're calling him Wyvern. And it's just, this is where a lot of, like, you're just moving around and walking around and you're seeing things. Like, there's no combat, there's nothing like that. And this is probably a good, like, 20, 30 minutes where it's just you walking around finding out about this world a little bit here or there. And it just, I was just like, oh, this looks good, this looks great, this looks fun. And then it does a, like, 13 years ago point at one point, and it goes to a flashback. And then this is where, like, you get trained on how to fight, and it's, like, the first actual combat. It teaches you how the combat works, and then there's some more story, and then they send you on to a mission, and you do the mission, and then you meet up with the, with everyone after the mission, and then it goes to the end of the trailer, or end of the demo, where, like, there's more combat and stuff that happens, and then big stuff happens. Like, there's very much spoilery things that happen in these first 2 hours that I cannot necessarily talk about. I did post a YouTube short about some reactions of things that you can do. One of them, they were both scripted fights, but, like, one of them, you're fighting a Morbol, which is, like, the big, like, friggin' teeth vine thingies. Which is like, alright, that's a normal Final Fantasy enemy. And then the other one, you fight a fucking Dragoon, which is bad fucking ass looking. I was so excited to see that guy.
That is actually kind of cool.
And it just, like, the combat system is, I honestly don't think you're going to play this in anything beyond story mode, Cobb.
What is the combat more like Souls combat?
It's action. It's action. It's more action, a little bit more Soulsy than anything else. Like, it's more Souls than, it's not quite Souls, but it is more Souls. Maybe even put it, like, more onto a point of, like, maybe more like Breath of the Wild, and probably...
Do your weapons break?
No, but, like, that's not the fucking combat system in Breath of the Wild. That's just a thing in Breath of the Wild. The combat is not your weapons break. The combat is the combat.
Every combat, your weapons break. It is part of the combat system.
We're not going to get into that. But, no, it's not, your weapons don't break. It's like, it is action. It is pressing buttons. It is time button pressing. It is combos. Like, there's one ability, like, your starting abilities that you have is you press triangle and he throws a firebolt, or you press square and he slashes with his sword, and you tap square a few times and he does a 4-hit combo. Eventually you get, like, combos or, like, X and square, he'll do a dash attack forward. Or you can hold triangle to charge your fire and throw it at them. Circle does, like, a fire dash where he closes in, and then you can hit a button afterwards to, like, try to help stagger them. It's still using, like, the stagger system that we've been getting used to in a lot of games, where, like, you hit them with certain attacks, certain abilities, or you dodge perfectly and then hit them, it starts to stagger them. And then once they get down half stagger, they stop a second, and then you can get them all the way down, empty their stagger bar fully, and you have, like, freedom to hit them consistently. Very similar to, like, how Final Fantasy VII Remake was, where, like, if you're hitting them with ice, you're dealing more stagger damage and stuff like that. But this is, as far as I know, within the first 2 hours, you control one character. You control Clive.
I mean, that's the whole game. Clive is your only player character.
And so it leans, from what I'm hearing, because I know someone who got it today and started playing it today. It leans more on the action style, and it is his words exactly. Let me just read his words exactly. My review a few hours in, it's a great action-adventure game and the worst RPG I've ever played. It's like all RPG mechanics are there just because they had to be so far. It's amazing, but has no right to be called an RPG so far.
I mean, isn't it just called an action RPG anyway?
Yeah, but it shouldn't even have the RPG title, is what he's saying. It is more action.
Every game is an action RPG anymore.
I mean, yeah, like they called fucking Monster Hunter World an RPG, so...
Which it kind of is, right? Like, it's an action RPG. Like, you're progressing your character, and like, that, as much as I fucking hate that game, like, it has a lot of RPG stuff going on.
Monster Hunter World has 0 character progression. It is all about...
You are putting yourself into your character. Like, RPG does not necessarily mean that you have to have, like, a story behind it. You are role-playing a silent protagonist.
But then you're role-playing Link in Legend of Zelda. You're role-playing Nathan Drake in Uncharted. Like, you are role-playing your character in Monster Hunter just the same as you're role-playing your character in Uncharted.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Richie, but there is no experience point system.
There is 0. Right? There are rank points, like low rank, high rank, master rank, stuff like that has no determination on your skill as a character. It is just an arbitrary number for you to clout that you reach 999.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is your armor. Like, your armor is kind of like your level, right? Because in order to fight the harder monster, you need to get the better armor and weapon.
You can fight every monster naked with the lowest well, no, not necessarily the lowest weapon, because they might be too you might bounce off them if you have the weakest weapon, but like, the armor gives you skills. Like, but you can beat the game without armor. I've seen people do it.
Well, yeah, but it's the same way that people beat fucking Soulsborne games with fucking dance pads. Those people are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you can beat in theory, you can beat Chrono Trigger at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. But Chrono Trigger, see, to me, what makes an RPG is a level system.
Yes.
That was back in the day. Like, I feel like now, like a traditional RPG, yes, but like when you're talking like action RPGs, like that becomes like a different thing.
No, I mean, if it has role-playing game in the name, there goddamn well better be an experience system that leads to some sort of increase in your character's abilities.
Yes, and I'm not saying like you need a skill system with that level up. Just the level up better mean I get more health, more attack, more defense, more whatever per level up.
See, I think enough games are going about it a different way versus experience now.
Cause like that's the other thing. Like the argument of Monster Hunter being a role-playing game is like, there's not a lot of dialogue in Monster Hunter. It's, hey, this is happening, go handle it. And then you go handle it. And then you come back. Great, thanks. Get your rank up and then I'll give you another job. You get your rank up. Hey, this is happening, go handle it.
Look, Monster Hunter is an RPG with all the fun stuff removed. It's just fucking fetch quests.
I have a hard time considering, like, I would consider Final Fantasy XVI an RPG because there's a level-based system with a skill system that comes into play that you upgrade your skills, you make your skills better. Like, it is about your character's progress and the armor helps. It is not Monster Hunter where the armor is your progress and your skills are what get you to that point. Like that's where, like, and Soulsborns are action RPGs because you get level ups and you put those points into attributes to make yourself stronger, to have higher health.
Right.
That is 100% an action RPG.
Yeah, I do
Monster
not
Hunter
disagree.
Monster Hunter doesn't have that.
No, and like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not here to try and argue that Monster Hunter is 1,000% an action RPG. I'm just simply saying, like, I understand how it can be classified like that if, like, you want to put it in that container.
A little. I not really. Like, I don't fully understand it. But We were talking about Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, as far as 16 goes, like you're saying, you're talking about the combat. How similar or dissimilar is it from like the remake? Is it just completely different?
It is. I would say it is more different than similar. I wouldn't say it's completely different, but I would say it's more different than similar. There's no ATB or anything like that. There's no auto attacking, so you have to attack yourself. Whereas if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played Remake. There was auto attack if you didn't press anything. And that would, if you're not pressing anything, it would auto attack, and that would fill your ATB more than if you're actually putting input commands. And then you would use your ATB to use different abilities and things like that. There's none of that. This is full-on action combat where you go up and your generic combo is a 4-hit combo, and you hit square 4 times and you hit the enemy. It adds, like, you can hit circle to close in and hit square to combine that circle and square to do a stronger hitting attack, and then turn into the 3-hit combo from there after that first hit. Or 3 more hits, so it's the full 4-hit combo from there. There is one thing that I cannot get, or I've tried, and I have a hard time getting it. It is an attack-based, so you hit square to attack, and then you can cause like a little bit more damage and add damage to the stagger bar more by hitting triangle when the attack hits. And each of your sword attacks, your basic sword attacks, whenever you hit an enemy, like each hit of the combo hits at a different point after hitting square. So you have to figure out that combo to get all 4 to hit, and that adds a little bit of fire damage because you hit them and then he blasts a fire at them, and hit them, blasts a fire at them. And that is, if you don't hit that right, you lose your 4-hit combo because you're not hitting square in time to hit that next combo because you're trying to hit triangle to get that point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that is one of the harder things about this combat system, is that part right there. I'm like, I am having such a hard time getting this.
Yeah, I'm bad at that stuff too. Like, if this was like, if it was more at like, action RPG combat, like a platform, platinum game, like not so much like button mashy, but a little more like just high speed, like roll in, roll away, like very like fast and fluid action versus the more deliberate action of like the Souls games. I'd probably be a little more into it.
Well, so real quick, reading the IG or the GameSpot review, he describes the combat as more Devil May Cry than like Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Okay. And see, like, I like Devil May Cry's combat.
Review, it's like, yeah, no, this looks like fucking Devil May Cry ass platinum game style combat.
It totally leans on action style combat.
So I think I read it wasn't the combat designer for Kingdom Hearts 2.
I think so. I don't remember.
I think that might be the case. There was a question I was going to ask you about it. Shit. It's gone. It was there and it's just gone.
Mm-hmm. Find it.
Is there any like as far as like the Souls sort of stuff goes, does it have any of like the gimmicks like the stamina bar where like you can dodge or attack like only like 3 or 4 times before you have to like bounce away and like heal or rest or whatever?
To be 100% honest, I don't remember.
Watching the combat video like in this review, no.
Awesome. Okay, because every time I try like the Souls games, that's the thing that gets me. Because that is just not a playstyle I'm accustomed to, like the super deliberate stuff. This is like a small tangent. I forgot to put it on the agenda too. I tried that Lies of P game, the Pinocchio weird game. Mm-hmm. Because there's a demo on Steam. Super cool aesthetic. You have like a robot arm and you use that to sharpen your sword. But it's 1,000% a Souls-like. And the little bit of Souls games I've played, it is not nearly as good as them. Like, this is definitely not a From Software game. But I got to like the first, like, let's call them mini boss. Like, basically like character that you don't just like take down with like 2 or 3 hits quickly. And I couldn't even actually land a hit on them. I'm so fucking bad at those games. And the combat is so like methodical. like, by the time I was rolling into him between his attacks, he was already ready to attack again. Like, I could not find the timing for the window to be able to, like, dash in, hit him, and then dash away. I was either, like, dashing in too early and then not being able to hit him, or doing it too late and just getting hit myself after, like, swinging.
Mm-hmm.
So that stuff I usually like to avoid.
Yeah, so with this, you can certainly just, with Final Fantasy, you can just go in guns blazing. Like, you don't have to be methodical. You can just go in and run a gun. And like I said, I only played the first 2 hours. I don't know how much different the gameplay might get as you get more abilities. There are, I don't know how in touch with the trailers and things like that you are, and how much you know about what may take place in this game. So I don't want to, like, there's something I found out about with this game that I didn't know about just because they were like, oh, you can play a later part with these abilities. And I was like, I didn't fucking know that you got those abilities. Thanks for spoiling your own game for me. So I don't know, like, what you do know about the game that I could potentially say that could be considered a spoiler.
Yeah, so to be fair, other than knowing that Clive is the main character, that there are kaiju battles, apparently, and that you do not control, like, a party like you do traditionally in Final Fantasy games, I know nothing else about it. I have no idea what the story's about. I don't know if, honestly, sorry, I have, like half hiccups. Other than knowing that there are summons in the game, I don't know if there's even actually magic. Like, that's
so
how little I'm sure there is, but it's one of those, I've seen the 1.5 trailers. Like, I saw the original trailer, and I think, like, half of one other one. And then I'm just like, it's a Final Fantasy game. I'm going to give it a shot regardless. Like, I don't need to see anything else.
So, yeah. So there's a point. There's you do eventually get other skills in some. Like, you start with fire. And you start with the ability to shoot fire. That's really all you start with. I mean, it's fire. It's what you start with. You get it within the first hour of the game.
Yeah. I feel like every Final Fantasy, if your character can do magic, you're going to have fire or lightning at the beginning of the game.
Does it level up, and is it called Fire 2 or Fyra?
I don't know.
I mean, if it's not called Fyra, they fucked up. Nobody wants the materia naming conventions.
So, I can't, the thing is, you can't go back into the demo and look at what you did. So you can't go back and look at your stats in the demo. Once you beat the demo, you're done until you get the game. Or you have to start over. So, like, I don't know, like, you get skill points as you level up, and you can place them to get new combos, or you can upgrade your existing ability.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know what happens if you increase the strength of your initial fire spell, if it changes the name. I don't know if, like, right now I have charged fire, because I can charge it. Well, one of the good things about this system, because it's I believe you get skill points per battle, or it might be per level, but I think it's per battle. I can't 100% remember. You can respec as many times as you want. So if you get something, if you get something you don't like, or if you get something you're probably not going to use, or you need to change up your battle style for a boss, just reset your skills and then respec to your liking to help you with that enemy.
Okay.
There are items that they put into the game that seem to be bonus accessory items that will help with people who aren't very much combat inclined, to, like, slow down combat, or help you get those perfect dodges, or to help you get those perfect parries and things like that. There are things in the game that will help you for that. If I played just the normal mode, if you play the quote story mode, it gives you those items right away. And, like, even in the demo, you have those items right away. Like, once you, like, it equips them on you, or something like that. I don't really get how it explained it, but it's like, if you pick the story mode, you have items equipped that helps you with combat to make the combat less action-focused, and to where you can just focus on the story. It doesn't make the game easier, but, like, your equipment is better, or something like that, I guess.
Okay. Like, like, was there a lot, I mean, I know, like, it was only a small portion of the game. Was there a lot of, like, item changing, like getting new equipment, new weapons sort of thing, or was it?
No.
Did the demo have it pretty scaled back?
In the demo, I got a piece of leather armor. That was it. But there was really only a total of, the training combat, the goblin fight. Was there 2 goblin fights? 1 or 2 goblin fights? The Morbo, the soldiers, and the dragoon. Like, there weren't that many combat situations. Because a majority of the game, a majority of the demo takes place in a flashback. So it's like there's not a lot of like enhancing that you can have, I guess, because it's all in the past anyway.
That's okay. That's fair. How many times does the main character talk about chaos?
There's 0 chaos.
Okay, that's a +1 for this.
I will say, I did not like the model and the design of Clive as a teenager. I thought I thought his nose was too pointed, and he just didn't really live into his emo haircut, because all Final Fantasy main protagonists have an emo haircut. His didn't really work with him.
I mean, Final Fantasy protagonists like created the emo haircut.
Yeah. But apparently, like, it gets better, like, as you play, from what I hear. Like, the next sequence, he fits his haircut and everything better, and he has a better character model. But yeah, it's a game I'm going to enjoy. I'm super excited and interested with the lore and the story. I think it's a story that you're going to like, Cobb. I'm just not 100% sold on whether you will be 100% down with the combat.
If it's Devil May Cry combat, probably. If it's Souls combat, 1,000% not.
It is definitely more Devil May Cry than Souls, for sure.
Yeah, like, if it's fast-paced combat and I can, like, dash in, attack, dash out, like, and it's not all about, like, oh, well, I have to do a perfect parry, frame perfect, before I can even get an opening to attack a guy, then, like, yeah, fuck that.
So, like, the perfect dodges and parries will help, but you can just play the game by button mashing, for sure.
And to be fair, like, I'm not talking about button mashing either, like, I'm just more of I'd rather get distance, wait for the opening, dash in, attack, and then dash away, than stay close and try and, like, dodge and parry things, because I'm bad at that. Like, I never have that timing down quite right, and I'd rather not die a bunch of times trying to get that down.
I mean, then you're gonna put together a build to help you do just more long-range attacks.
Or I'm gonna dash in, attack, and dash away. But that's actually cool that you can customize builds, like,
so your generic firebolt is long range,
right?
And so, like, you'll probably be able to upgrade that and get abilities that make your long range attacks stronger and more useful, so that if you are someone who's not good at close range combat, you can just do the long range stuff. I'm sure, because you are playing the game as just one character, and it is Final Fantasy, I'm sure you can build a Dragoon. I'm sure you can build a Black Mage. I'm sure you can build a White Mage. That
would actually be kind of cool if you can, like, if they have specific ways, like, they might not have them named that way, but, like, between abilities and armor, if you can kind of customize them to essentially fall into those roles to an extent. Because, like you said, White Mage, like, that would be hard to play that game as a White Mage, probably, if that's your only character.
Yeah. But, like, it would probably be more in line with the Red Mage. I believe Red Mages are both white and black together, but, like, not as strong with both, or something. Yes. No, Red Mage is...
Yep. No.
Is that what a Red Mage is?
Yep.
Yeah. Or, like, maybe there's even enemy skills, and you can be a Yellow Mage, or you can be a Blue Mage, where it's combat and fighting. Like, I don't know, because...
enemy skills.
Yeah.
Are Blue Mage enemy skills? I thought
Yellow
Mage
as
was
far as I know,
thinking,
there is no yellow.
You're thinking of yellow because the enemy skill materia is a yellow materia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, the teacher from Final Fantasy VIII, like, her limit break was blue something because she was a Blue Mage.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sold on this game. I enjoyed the demo. I know you said you'll definitely get it, but I just suggest do the demo first.
No, I'm just gonna buy it.
I'm totally suggesting, like, I really push you. Try the demo first. see if you like the combat, and see if you like the lore. And if you still want to play it, but you're not 100% sold, then just wait for it to go on sale. Otherwise, get it whenever you want to get it.
So, I even liked the lore in Final Fantasy 15. Like, I'm a Final Fantasy 8 fan. I'm going to enjoy the narrative. And it's what's his face from Final Fantasy 14. Yoshida. And Final Fantasy 14 for an MMO has incredible fucking lore.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm all for, like, whatever, like, weird, like, story stuff they're doing. And, like, the combat's going to be fine. Like, from what you said and what Drew saw, like, it sounds like Devil May Cry combat. I like that kind of combat. I don't like Souls combat.
Yeah, and, like, the video had stuff even in, like, the level 30, 35 range. There was no, like, stamina bar.
Yeah,
like,
I went back and watched my gameplay from Monday, and yeah, there's no stamina bar. Stamina bars are so common to me that, like, I don't really acknowledge them anymore. I know they're there, but, like, I manage them in whatever game I'm playing, so if it is in the game, I might not even realize it's in the game because I'm just used to it.
Yeah, and, like, that's the thing. Like, because you play games like Monster Hunter and the Souls games, you might be looking at it as, like, the combat. Like, you might be just doing combat like that because that is what you are used to.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time you played, like, a Platinum game?
Fuck. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Like, it's not that, like I play them a ton, but, like, I played, like, Nier. I've played all the I have not played the newest Devil May Cry 5, but I've played all the other ones to at least some extent in the past. I've played some of the Bayonetta. Like, I like that sort of, like, fast-paced, action RPG combat. Nier, what was that fucking game on, Astral Chain?
Yeah. And, like, I love that kind of combat, too. Like, that combat is great. Those haven't been, like, Astral Chain was definitely on my radar when I wanted it, when it came out. Completely forgot about it. Have never gotten it since. And, like, I love those games. I have all the Devil May Cries on Steam. I haven't played most of them, or I haven't played them since I bought them. I think I have them on Steam. I guess not. Where do I have them? I thought I did. Or maybe, no, I have them on my wish list on Steam as well. But I have, like, Bayonetta on Steam is what it is. I have Bayonetta 1.
Bayonetta's fun. You should play it.
I want to. What I want to do is get 2 and 3 and do them in a row when I get all 3 of them.
Alright, that's fair. It's a shame that you have to play 2 and 3 on the Switch, because apparently 3 runs a little rough.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But anything else you want to say about Final Fantasy before we move along?
No, let's move along. We've been on this for a while, and we still got book clubs.
Cool. I will be quick. We watched Black Clover, The Sword of the Wizard King yesterday, which is the Black Clover movie that just came out. It actually simul-released, like, everywhere, from what I could see, last week. And it actually simul-released with the dub, which was surprising. It's on Netflix right now. That's where you can watch it in the US. It is very much like an anime movie where it does not appear to necessarily be part of, like, the main canon. From the best we could tell based on kind of, like, what the characters can do and what some of them look like, it is near the end of where the anime stopped, but not quite at the end of the anime. So, like, everyone's kind of got they've got the powers and the abilities that they had near, like, where the anime stopped airing. So it's not like going back and, like, watching, like, an early, like, Bleach movie where, like, Ichigo still had his original sword and couldn't do anything cool. Like, it's like watching, like, a Bleach movie now where Ichigo has, like, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why I went with Bleach, but you get the point. And the movie wastes zero time getting started. So it opens up with, like, a flashback to the current Wizard King and most, if not all, of the captains from, like, a decade ago, like, taking down somebody that used to be one of them. And then it immediately flashes forward to there's just a big Magic Knight competition happening. And it's going to be Magic Knight versus Magic Knight to determine who, like, the coolest Magic Knight is or something stupid like that. And normally, tournament arc in the movie. And normally something like that, you'd have at least a handful of rounds would go through. You know, you'd have the filler rounds real quick where they showed like some side characters quickly kind of like getting beat by people or whatnot. This one just goes right fucking into it where it's the two main characters going at it in round one. First two competitions, the fucking main characters of the show. But they immediately, like before their fight even gets started, the bad guys just show up and everything gets thrown for a loop. So like it rushes right into it. And it was good because I think it was a 2-hour movie, but like it moved nice and quickly. It did some cool stuff with, pairing up characters that you didn't often see in the show get paired up. And I don't know if the manga where the show stopped gets them paired up. So like the captain for the Black Bulls, which is the squad that you follow mostly, he very rarely works with people other than a handful of other captains that aren't in his squad. But in the movie, he works with like the secondary protagonist at one point, which is just, they're very different characters. So it was kind of an interesting thing to see. And it kind of gave very much like, again, like most anime movies, it kind of gave everybody like a little moment to shine. Like everyone got to do something cool. They all got to fight people that like in the show would have been way outclassed by them, but they did the thing of like teaming, basically putting teams of people together. So like the stronger the team of people, the smaller that team may have been. So the Black Bulls captain and the other protagonist, it was just the two of them fighting one person. Whereas basically the entire remainder of the Black Bulls fought another one together because them combined are not that strong really. But yeah, the basic idea of the movie was a bad guy from previously, uses his magic to resurrect 3 of the previous Wizard Kings who had like a similar ideal to him. And their plan is to basically take over the kingdom, siphon all of the magic power out of everybody, and rule the kingdom in a way where like everybody is equal. And by everybody being equal, they really mean everyone is beneath them and they have total control over everybody. Cause, you know, villains. You do get the idea from them that they were pushed to the extreme over like their life and seeing it like the way that the world worked. Like it's not like they were villains from the get-go, but like by the end of their lives, like they had seen so much shit that they didn't think the world was working the way it was. And I guess it's also important for anyone that doesn't know what Black Clover is. It's a show based in a world where every single person in the world has magic. Not everybody has good magic or powerful magic, but everybody can do something, and it's usually something unique. And some of the magics are actually really unique. There's like people, like their magic is like key magic. Like they can make keys to unlock anything. There's one guy, he has mirror magic, so he can make mirrors that will reflect things, but he can also make mirror images of things. And, you know, there's lots of cool ways that things can get done in there. There's one character, she does sheep magic, and her sheeps are cooks. And when they cook things, it's very RPG. When they cook things, they restore, people's health and magic power. So, like, it's just like a weird little white mage. The main character, though, Asta, has no magic power. His whole life, he's had none. He was always kind of like the butt of everyone's jokes, but he was still determined to become the Wizard King, which is the most powerful wizard, obviously. And at the point where he would get, like, everyone gets a grimoire, like, that is supposed to, like, enhance their magic abilities at, like, a certain age. At the point he's supposed to get one, he doesn't, because he has no magic power. But something happens, and he basically gets anti-magic. So, like, he has a sword that can just negate magic. And it's kind of cool. And that's kind of like how this one plays out, where, like, his abilities are directly opposed to the guy who can steal people's abilities. So, you know, it was fun. I liked it. I'm trying not to give too much away because it, did just come out. But, it was a nice continuation from kind of where the series left off, while also being separate enough that they never have to reference any of this again. It does make me wish that the show was continuing, and there's just no word on that. The anime ended, I want to say, in spring of 2021 with like 170 episodes. The manga is still going. The manga is well past that now. But it was kind of running into like the shonen issue of like the long running series where it wasn't doing seasonal the way like My Hero has been doing, where it takes a year off and it has time to build up that little bit of a buffer. It was basically doing just back-to-back seasons with maybe just small gaps between them. And it was getting to the point where like they were having to stick filler arcs and stuff in there. And I don't know if that was hurting the ratings or if they just decided to end it at the time. But they ended it on a fucking cliffhanger. And there's just no word if it's ever coming back. And it's a fucking bummer. But
yeah.
But the movie was a lot of fun. And I recommend if you've seen the show and know enough about it, it's worth checking it out on Netflix.
Nice. I've heard about the show and I've heard the movie was really good. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, the show's fun too. It's like a lot of that type of show where, like, if you look back at like a Naruto or a Bleach or a Dragon Ball, like the beginning of it is rough because like they're definitely trying to figure out the characters still. The voice actors are trying to figure out how to voice those characters, and most of them can't really do anything cool yet. It's not until you get like, you know, a couple dozen episodes in where like people have cool powers and they're doing cool shit.
Yeah.
But either way, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm glad it finally came out. I think it was supposed to be out like a year ago, and it got delayed because of like COVID production issues and stuff. Because it got announced right after the series ended back in 2021. So it was quite a while for them to make this movie. But how about Book Club?
How about it?
Drew, this was your pick, I think, right?
Yes, maybe. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure.
I think it was. What did you think, Face Off?
It's an action movie that you can tell was directed by John Woo.
Was that a John Woo movie?
Yep.
Okay. I guess all those gunfights make sense.
All the dives and the wire.
Yeah. There was one dive near the very end during the gunfight in the apartment with the kid that like Nick Cage does this weird spin dive to turn himself around that made zero fucking sense. And I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, which one are you talking about? I don't remember this.
It was like, I'm trying to 100% remember how it went, but like he was in the middle of the floor and he was shooting, was it in the hospital, or was it in the apartment, or was it at the church at the end? I can't remember, but like it was just a pointless like circle dive forward that had no effect to the movie, had no effect to his standing at all.
There was also in the prison, during the electric chair scene, like where he breaks out and he does a forward dive somersault and pulls the guard's gun out of his holster as he like tumbles over him and immediately comes up and shoots like the dude on the like mezzanine.
I mean, you know, that could have been it too. There was just so many weird theatrics to this movie that like, I was like, some of these just don't make sense. I don't get it.
Dude. And just because we're on the Nick Cage, era of things, Nick Cage as Castor at the beginning of the movie is just so fucking good. Mm-hmm. Like, he leans into being like a sociopath so much at the beginning of that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. John Travolta also did a great job as just like creepy sociopath. But like Nick Cage, he was just chewing everything in those scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was so good. His, like, the acting and his, like, dive down into Troy, or, like, his pretending to be a character. It's hard to explain, but you know how the movie is. Like,
he was kind of like losing himself a little bit at times.
Yeah. But like him, when he first became Castor, or when they first put Castor's face onto, Travolta's body, and it's now Nick Cage playing John Travolta playing Nick Cage. And his dive into Nick Cage playing John Travolta playing Nick Cage when he was just Nick Cage playing John Travolta. Like that, and in the fight sequence in the prison, it was just so good. And like his like slow change to like, I'm a normal person to, oh right, I gotta be crazy. Let's be crazy. And then that Nick Cage eyes and those Nick Cage smiles and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, man, the movie was over the top, though. Like, in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I forgot how much of this movie he's just in prison for.
Mm-hmm.
How
long was the timer for the bomb? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Because, like, they say at the beginning of the movie, with modern anti-inflammatories or whatever, healing time is down from weeks to days. But it literally feels like in the movie, he got the surgery and went right to prison, and then Nick Cage got the surgery and came right out of the hospital.
Agree.
And it was just like, that's not days, that's minutes, man. Like,
look, man, did you see them 3D printing the ear and then reattaching it? They were just lasering scars away. Like, in 1997, they apparently had the technology to just laser scars away.
But your body would still react to having your face pulled the fuck off. Because also, your face isn't just coming off. You're peeling that thing off.
It's fine. They put a new one on.
But like, yeah, like I'm sure, I don't know how close. It's probably kind of far. But I'm sure we're coming close to technology being able to 3D print ears. But like, we're still 30 fucking years since this movie.
Yeah. I will say, one of the things I found, like, the funniest, I guess you could say. So, John Travolta to Nick Cage. A little more reasonable. Like, John Travolta had longer hair and had a little more weight to him. So, like, the doctor even said, like, you know, like we'll slim you down a little bit, we'll cut your hair, like this will be fine. Nick Cage to Travolta, both times, like actual, like, caster to him, and, like, the reversal at the end, like, they had to add weight and hair back onto him.
Yeah.
And height. Didn't they have to make him taller? A little bit?
Marginally.
But I think that's one of those things where, like, if you were to look at, like, the notes of the characters from the movie, it probably said they are the same height.
No, they did mention they had to alter his height.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you alter somebody's height?
You break their legs. And, like, legitimately, like, you break their legs, add a rod, and oops.
Yeah, but how do you make them shorter?
You take bone away.
You chop part of their leg off.
The best way to lose weight is to get a leg amputated, so the best way to get shorter is to just get some ankles cut off.
It's 11 days on the bomb.
11 days.
Yeah.
So this movie takes place over the course of 17 days, give or take. 16 maybe. Because she said, and like his wife was like, we've spent 5 nights together and I thought he was you.
So let's roll back for a second. This movie takes place over the course of about 6 years. Because the movie opens up like 6 years prior.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though.
Well, yeah, but then the rest of the movie is in 16 or 17 days.
No, it's even less, because he comes home, he returns home, but doesn't go defuse the bomb right away. Probably a day or two. So the movie, the main focus of the movie takes place in, let's say, 13 to 14 days. You can get face-changing surgery twice in 14 days.
Well, I mean, they do say that it's days to recover, not weeks. Days is 2. 2 days. 2 days recovery.
But
also, he did defuse the bomb with, like, literally 2 seconds left on it. So we know it was 11 days.
It was 11 days plus, like, another 3 like, at least another 3, maybe 4. Because she was like, we were together for 5 days, and I think he had already gone home once before he defused the bomb. So I think it's 4 days top. So 15 days total in this movie. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. And then, like, the captain's funeral, they planned that within a day.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, he was already old and obviously had a bad heart, so they probably had most of that stuff just ready to go.
It's just, like, some of the things in this movie are just, I'm like, this timeline just doesn't work. It does not work.
Just to, like talk about weird things real quick. outside of the timeline. What the fuck was up with the dude in the hospital? Like, so at the end, after Cage Travolta, like, told his wife that it was him, she was, like, patching him up at the hospital, and then Travolta Cage shows up, and the wife is at that point, like, working on somebody else, and he, like...
Oh, he's missing half his fucking face!
Yeah, she like, throws the curtain open, he rips the covering off the person's face, who was obviously awake, but did not move an inch. And it looks like somebody fucking shot him through the other side of his face. I'm like, why the fuck is she just, like, gingerly working on this in just, like, out in the open? Why is that not happening in, like, a surgical room?
Yeah.
Like, that man obviously has a chunk of his face blown away by a shotgun.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Like, it was just so over the top. I'm like, what the fuck?
And I mean, this obviously just shows more the craziness that was Troy Caster and less about, like, the system and the man, but, like,
it's Caster
they
Troy.
attacked Caster Troy. They attacked the apartment. There was a fucking kid. There was innocent people there. Like, no officers would do that shit if they saw a kid in that building. But it was just like, oh yeah, no, let's just have a gunfight with this random fucking 5-year-old child just walking around in this apartment.
Yeah, and, like, it's his kid, right? Like,
it was Troy's kid, yeah. Or Caster's kid, yeah. Whatever his fucking name is.
So I didn't realize this. So Cage and his in-movie brother, they're named Castor and Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
I know that as a fucking dog food brand. So I thought they were named after dog food. I just looked it up. Apparently they're actually Greek, Roman mythology figures.
Okay.
And I just think that's funny. Like, I'm just like, I just assume I assume based on them being psychopaths that their parents were just awful human beings and named them after dog food. But it looks like they may have actually been named after, like, Greek, Roman mythology characters.
Yeah. Oh, I love, because this is a 90s movie, the anti-goth agenda in this movie.
Oh, with them, like,
with
constantly talking shit to the daughter.
Yeah. It's every 90s movie, every 90s bad kid was either goth or wore a leather jacket. She was both.
Dude, I will say, too, like, Travolta in that one scene where he, like, takes the cigarettes was so fucking creepy.
Oh, yeah. Extremely creepy. Extremely creepy.
But also, when he pulled the douchebag from that 70s show out of the car and just beat him, I thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
Because I did not expect that. And him just kicking the window in and ripping him out of the car. And then, like, not even, like, punching him, beating him. Like, literally kicking him in the nuts and then throwing him across the car.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably the best fight scene in that movie.
Oh, fuck, that was Danny Masterson, huh? How about that?
Yeah.
Was that? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No surprise there, I guess.
Couldn't think of his name. That's true. Is Face Off a true story?
It very much could be. I do love, and I think this is what it's called. I can't remember, the Mexican standoff at the very end.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, where they just people just kept coming in,
and everyone just has a gun pointed at everyone, and I'm just like, what is this right now? I love it.
Yeah, like that. The end of this movie is pretty fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
Between like the 30-minute fucking boat scene, I will also say I love at the beginning of the movie where just, FBI agent John Travolta just throws a man out of a helicopter and takes over.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to catch this guy. Get out of your helicopter. I'm commandeering this vehicle.
Yeah. Look, there's so many inaccuracies and things that really wouldn't work in this.
Like, why the fuck does literally nobody other than, like, the doctor and one guy know what they did? Like, nobody else at the FBI, not a single fucking other person knows that that's not fucking true.
The doctor, it was the three. It was the doctor, it was the woman, and it was the guy. The woman and the guy were both part of the FBI, and the doctor wasn't. Why were all three of them at the doctor's office to be burned?
Oh, yeah. Like,
that's the question. It's not why did
they
only
had
the
to
three
keep it secret.
But how did, like, that might have been cut for time or something, which I feel like they probably shouldn't have, which was why or how did he get them there? Because there's no reason that should have happened.
That is true.
Because, like, they're FBI agents. They're officers. If people came rolling up to their house to kidnap them, to bring them somewhere, there's no way they would have. I mean, they did. I think, if I remember correctly, the doctor looked beat up. The other two you didn't really get to see a lot of. But, like, there's no way they would have gotten kidnapped that easily. Or there's no way people wouldn't have actually known what the fuck happened at that point. Like, Nick Castor's out. He wasn't. I mean, he was actually sent to prison because it was weird, but it was funny.
But also, even, like, just, why the fuck did they have to send him into the prison and not just take Pollux out of the prison to talk to the changed fucking...
I mean, that's too simple.
Also, why the fuck did the voice changer thing not break in that first fight after the doctor was like, if you get hit, like, at all, it might...
Well, it was like hitting the vocal cords or something like that. Or like hitting like the neck. That's what was supposed to break it.
But it's like, don't get into fights, but fucking, immediately prison riot. Like,
yeah.
But he didn't get hit in the throat then.
Yeah.
Totally fine at that point.
Totally, definitely no hits in a fucking hand-to-hand brawl. Like, make a glancing blow to your throat at all. Like,
yeah.
Getting thrown across the room, like, isn't gonna jostle your throat. Like,
no. Yeah. What? I don't know. This movie, it was great. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it. It's definitely not, like, the best movie ever, but it was definitely an enjoyable time and an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, I agree. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's, like, any other, like, notable parts that we haven't really touched on, but I don't really think so. I think, like, we touched on most of the movie in general.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, that is from that era of Cage movies where he did a lot of just, like, ridiculous action movies. And, like, none of them were ridiculous. Like, that's a little condescending. Like, you have, like, The Rock in there. There's that movie Snake Eyes, which not an action movie, but still just Cage being Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, are you guys ready to see what the next Nicolas Cage movie is?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right. So we are going to watch the 2023 vampire movie, Renfield.
Okay. I can dig it. So we got old Nick Cage with Face Off. We got medium Nick Cage with Gone in 60 Seconds. And now we have new Nick Cage with Renfield.
Yeah.
I dig it.
And,
I dig it.
That Renfield is on Peacock streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see how this goes. It's so it is supposed to be a sequel to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Where, like, Dracula is in, I think, Los Angeles, and, Nicholas Hoult, who played, like, Beast in the newer X-Men movies, plays, like, his servant.
Mm-hmm.
So, should be a good time. And Ben Schwartz is in it. We get Nick Cage and Ben Schwartz.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I've seen trailers and stuff for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know, it apparently, like I did see, it does not have very good, like, reviewer scores, but it's got decent audience scores. So it's probably at least, like, fun, if not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be in 2 weeks on July 6th? July 6th. Yeah.
Yep.
And I guess, is there anything else either of you guys feels like talking about?
No, I think that's it. I think we're good.
All right. Well, in that case, if you would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All of those things help a whole bunch. We're also on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Then, Rich, what's your schedule, stream stuff, place?
All right, so it's changing because I'm fed up with Twitch and all of their bullshit. I initially was thinking of going over to Kick, but I'm also not really 100% sold on Kick being worthwhile. Their $16 an hour does seem pretty solid and lucrative. However, I don't trust that site to continue much longer, and I don't want to lose people. So, I moved over everything to YouTube. YouTube.com/@bwalnuts. And you can find me posting Let's Plays as well as live streaming on my same schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and usually on Sundays, unless I'm like super busy or unable to play due to recording the Let's Plays. So again, youtube.com/@bwalnuts, /@bwalnuts, and I'll be playing Sea of Thieves on Thursdays and Final Fantasy XVI starting on Sunday. Monday will be Retro Night, so come check out Retro Night at least.
Fun. All right, and with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.